In today's session, we will look at the full business cycle of fixed assets, from acquisition, depreciation, managing it in inventory, reporting, and disposal. So without any further ado, let's jump right into the demonstration and go from there. Let's look at the acquisition of fixed assets. So fixed assets can be acquired in multiple ways, can be put into the system. They could enter it as a new record, or they may be imported. You could provide asset details on a purchase order, or an accounts payable bill, or a credit card transaction in cash management. If you need to record construction in progress, business process can be followed. Assets can be put into service after depreciation schedules are calculated and the accounting has reviewed it. So let's go in and create one asset. So we have an asset here, a bill that we've pre-populated already from fixed assets. So when we look at this invoice, we'll put the date and the vendor number, regular information. That's as in any accounts payable invoice. And then on the detail line, we're looking at we're buying some furniture and fixtures. When we do look at this detail line, what we will be adding is we will be adding the asset class. So what classes of asset is this going to be? What is our general, what is the GL posting date, an asset name, and of course, then of course, when are we placing that asset into service? And of course, because it is linked to a fixed asset account, that is saying that this is a fixed asset. Classes. Okay, and so on down the line with the other lines on this transaction. So we'll just hide this detail, and we're going to post this transaction. When we post this transaction, oops, sorry about this. There's some tax information in here that is missing, so I'm just going to go in and ignore that portion of tax. Sorry about this. Hopefully this would work correctly here. Post this. Oh, sorry about that. So that asset that wasn't able to create because of that tax off. So my apologies for that. But we could just jump in because there was other assets that were created in the same format in here. So if we're looking at this was furniture and fixtures. So when we're looking at our asset listing, so we will be able to find this if you go to our fixed asset module, click on our assets, and we'll get a listing of all our assets. We could change these views by how we want it. So right now we're going by asset class. We want to see this view by employee. Which employees have this particular are in possession of these particular assets, but we'll go in for this asset by class. When that AP invoice does get processed, it does go it does check to see if there are certain criteria that are met. So there's some validation rules that are set. So these are a set of checks on fixed assets data to ensure all data fields are populated. They run when you're creating a fixed asset, creating a posting or depreciation schedule, or when a user selects to revalidate an asset functionality. So I could actually go in and look at this one asset in here. Let's edit this asset here. And so when I'm saving this asset, it goes through some validation rules to make sure that all the dimensions that are required are keyed in. It's checking for required dimensions, missing data from an AP bill. Are the books closed? Are they open? And is the asset created at the top level in a multi-entity environments? Once this asset is ready to go, and let's see if I have anything that hasn't been assets to be reviewed, they will actually end up in here. So I've got some assets that are in review. So this is the next step. So we're reviewing these assets. So once we look at these assets, let's go view these. I can edit this, have a look, make sure have one final look, make sure everything's fine on this particular asset. I'll save it. It goes through that validation rule. And then I could continue on. So I could just go select these. I'll do this computer equipment here. I'll select these here. And what I'll do is say I'm going to generate my depreciation schedule. So this system will go offline and create those create those depreciation schedules for me. So give it a few minutes, and those schedules should pop up. So if I go back into assets by class again, we should see that extra computer equipment showing up in here. When that schedule is created, we could link to the asset, and we have some more information on here. So we have all the asset information, asset cost, what type of class it is, and so on, residual value, if anything. And we could also look at where that location is in there, so exactly to Spotify if we need to track that location. If there's a photograph, we can see that photograph. If there's any AP bills that were attached to it, we could actually see this. So there's this vendor was from there, so we could see that. We could look at any statuses, anything of that. One more tab on here, we've got the financial depreciation. So this is your depreciation schedule. So these computers, these are being amortized on a straight line basis. If you need to track tax information as well, so this is your book depreciation. If you need to track tax depreciation as well, you could definitely track tax depreciation as well to take care of your CRA, Schedule 8, and so on and so forth. You could create that within Sage Intacct. Nothing gets posted. This is just more for record keeping. We're able to track any service details. These are all keyed in manually. So if there is a new service detail, we can see who it's serviced by and so on down the list in here. Get that information on that particular asset. Insurance details, same information, and the system information gives you a log of what happened to that system, to that particular asset. When we're ready to go in and run the depreciations methods, so the book value and the tax depreciations can be created. Only the book value depreciation, as mentioned, gets posted to the GL. Depreciation can be calculated by month, quarter, year, with full, mid, or half conversions. Fiscal calendars with 12 or 13 months can be used as well, and depreciation can optionally be weighed by the number of days in the period as well. The commonly used depreciation methods come pre-built with the package. So we do have the pre-built ones are your straight line, your 200 declining balance, 200 declining balance. These are some US depreciation schedules in here, and you can also create your own schedule. So this schedule here, this 30 dB, this will create my 30% declining balance as we want it. So it'll depreciate 30% per annum, but it'll divide that per annum into a monthly basis. So you can calculate. Now you could record your depreciation on a monthly basis. And depreciation can be posted in detail or in summary in a summary detail. So let's go in and create and run that depreciation. Let's post that depreciation. So we'll go in and look at our depreciation schedules. When we're looking at it, we're going to look at any depreciation that was due. So basically with this view, and we could edit this view, this will tell us any depreciation that has been created is less than today. The asset is not empty, and the validation status is okay or disabled. Okay, so anything prior to today is going to be posted on the schedule. So that's what is showing up here. We could definitely go in and select all our schedules. So there's 1019 in here, but what we're going to do is we're just going to select a handful of them just to go through that process to give you an idea of what's happening in here. So we're just going to pick these. I'll just pick this page here. So I'm just going to select on this page just these records. So I've got all these depreciations to be posted in here in the system. So now we'll go in and we're going to post this depreciation. So what we're doing is we could post this depreciation. If we're posting this depreciation this way, each transaction, each asset class will get posted. Each depreciation entry will be its own entry. If we do post depreciation by summary, what this will do is it'll actually give us a summary for each depreciation class. So each asset class will be posted individually in the system. So we post depreciation, Like I said, it goes in, verifies that those validation rules, make sure that all the fields are correct and sitting in there and ready to go. And we can also change that depreciation date in here. I'm just going to cancel this for the time being, and then we're going to look at how it does when we post it by in summary. So if we're going to post it by summary, we'll say, okay, what's my posting date? Let's say I want to post it today, and this goes offline and it'll send me an email once that gets posted. So this override date is if you want to bring your depreciation up to date, because maybe you closed your books and you hadn't posted them, you want to bring those up to date. That's how you would do that in that particular case. If not, it'll override the date that is on the date. So it would have posted into this, but right now we're going to post all those will get posted into that asset. Now, when we're looking at assets as well, we could also see some other information in here. So we could go, let's go back into my furniture and fixture here. Let's go look at this one here. So we can also change some information in regards to this particular asset. So prior to generating that schedule, this is what we will see. We can't really see much. We have the asset. We don't have a depreciation set up here. So we're going to go and generate that schedule for this particular asset. And we'll wait a few minutes before it gets populated. We could also go in and change some of the attributes within the asset. So if you need to go in and change a few fields, maybe it's in the wrong department, wrong location, or you want to change some other, maybe you want to change the depreciation method or the class, you could definitely do that within the system as well. So this changing these attributes is mainly used when you want to change dimensions. Use this function when an asset needs to be moved, when it's had a physical moved location. While maintaining an asset record, press Change Asset Attributes button, select the asset dimensions, press Next, and assign the new dimension values. So we could change the asset cost, the useful life, and asset dimension. Let's say we're going to change this dimension on here. And we could specify which dimension that we want to change. Maybe we want to update department. We'll take it out of the sales department and we want to put it into our services department. And maybe change this employee. Maybe this it's no longer with Ewan. Maybe it's now gone to Jensen. And now we're going to click on next and submit, and all those dimension values gets changed over. So that's how you can manage those assets within the application, and how you would work with your inventory of those particular assets. Reporting wise, there are various number of reports that are available. I've created a fixed asset reporting dashboard here, so we can see some of that information that's in here. So we do have a forecast, financial depreciation forecast by class in here, so we could see those classes. We could show the data as well on here and which one it is: trucks, computer, buildings, and furniture and fixture, or we could show the graphs in here as well. We have some KPIs, so we could manage the total fixed assets that we have on our books, what the accumulated depreciation is, and what the depreciation expense was posted for this month. We do have some numerical tax depreciation forecast. And also another view of that same information as well. We have a report for assets by employee, so we could definitely have a look at this one. Open this one up, do this in HTML, and so now we have a breakout of those assets by employee. So Brendan has a Lenovo, and he's also got a Walnut work desk from Staples. When you are looking at the fixed assets as well, another way of doing some reports is playing around with these views as well. So in the drop down, I've got assets by class, but I could say, give me my employee view, assets acquired in a foreign currency, assets to be reviewed. So maybe they haven't fully, they haven't got into the system yet. They've just been posted. So have one more look at it. We could look at all our assets, our disposed assets, assets that have validation issues, and all active, and we could also do parent-child relationships as well, so we could look at child. If we wanted to change a view, we could always create a new view, or we could edit this view, give it a new name. We can make it private. We could make it public. Public means everybody could see it. Private means it's only for you or yourself. And we could add the columns that we want to display on that view. We could change that and how they will show up. Change the order of them. We could also change the groupings and sorting of how we want to sort those, and we could also do some filtering in here. So if we wanted to have a view of just the computers and equipment, we could also say, well, let's give me my asset class equals computer equipment. So if I save this, now this view is only going to show me my 26 computers that I have. I'm just going to go back out here to change this and remove that filter or that. And now we'll go back to seeing all those. So I would recommend cloning this. So if you clone it, it'll make an exact replica, and rename it and save it as something else for yourself. And of course, everybody in fixed assets, especially at year end, when the auditors are in, they're always looking for a roll forward report. So that is also available within the system. We do have this link to the roll forward report's not built into the system. It does create an Excel file. So the roll forward report is a net book value report and an asset movement schedule all in one. It is now under the regular fixed assets menu at fixed assets roll forward report. So if we go into fixed assets, and there should be a roll forward report in here. Takes a little while to get that up and running. Once that report is created, you will get a report. The report is emailed to you as an Excel file, and it will have all the information. So if I want to pick my particular entity, I could show my details or not show my details. Just give me my summary in there, and I'll submit that. And now Sage Intacct will generate this report, send it over to me in email, and I'm ready to provide it for the auditors. And as you've seen earlier, we can put fixed assets onto a dashboard. It is recommended to have its own dashboards, and you can see all the reporting on here. And we can also have a little click in here to link it over to that roll forward report to request that roll forward report. Okay. If you are a not-for-profit and you have extra dimensionality, so because for not-for-profits you do have the ability of having two user-defined dimensions. One thing that is really good with this particular, and if you wanted to create I use the fixed assets as a dimension, you could always go in and change this asset and enable this asset as a dimension in the general ledger. So now you have that asset will also be a dimension, and now you could report using the regular dimensionality, regular dimension reporting processes. That's not many have used it, but that's a very quick way of using it. It does work excellent for those not-for-profits that need to post something to a fixed asset dimension. When disposing of an asset, it is just as easy. So we'll go to the asset. We will look at let's look at this equipment here. Let's view this asset. And what we're going to do is we're going to dispose of this asset. When it disposes of the asset, it of course, it'll write off the capital cost. It'll write down the accumulated depreciation to zero, and it'll post it into the proper gain or loss account as need be. So we can put in our data disposal, and I'm going to put this place in service. Okay, I'm going to say dispose of it today, and I'm going to tell it what type it was. It sold? Was it a loss? Was it a theft? Was it other? And maybe this was maybe we sold this off at 489.22, and where is this going to go to? Other expenses, or where that cash account, where does the cash go into? Maybe it goes into there. Maybe it goes into gain. Let's see if there's an account here for gain. We'll just put it into other expenses for now, just to keep it simple. Next, and now you have disposed of that asset. So assets can be disposed of individually or in bulk. Individually, if a profit or loss needs to be recognized, or in bulk if you're writing off those assets. So that takes us to the end of the demonstration part. If you require any more information, you could always get information from the help screen in regards to the fixed assets. So if you go to more on your Sage Intacct help, scroll over down, drill down to your SIG fixed assets, and you'll have some information in regards to fixed assets. You could see those workflows that are required, and any other information that you need to regards to assets, how depreciation works, how to put assets on hold, how to dispose of assets, and so on in there. If you have access to the Sage community, there is also fixed assets community that you could join in a group and to get some more information on that and talk to and discuss items on the fixed asset module with other users. Thank you very much for your attention, and hope you have a nice afternoon.